Grand Central Station.
All aboard Rinso Express. You're on the right track for speedy suds, easier wash days, wider washes, when you use the new anti-seize Rinso.
Bullet seeks its target, shining rails in every part of our great country are aimed at Grand Central Station, heart of the nation's greatest city. Drawn by the magnetic force of the fantastic metropolis, day and night great trains rush toward the Hudson River, sweep down its eastern bank for 140 miles, flash briefly by the long red row of tenement houses south of 125th Street, dive with a roar into the 2.5-mile tunnel which burrows beneath the river and flank of Park Avenue. And then Central Station, crossroads of 1,000,000 private lives, gigantic stage on which are played 1,000 dramas daily.
If you travel a lot, you know you're bound to run into some pretty strange people and hear some mighty interesting stories. Well, there was one time when... Oh, I beg your pardon, I guess I ought to introduce myself. O'Hara's the name. Henry J. O'Hara, traveling salesman. I've been traveling 20 years now, and I've been married 20 years, so this job doesn't give me much time with Martha. Martha's my wife. But everything's all right, so there you are. Well, sir, there's something about a train that makes people talk to a stranger about things they'd never even mentioned to their friends and relatives. Now, take this last trip of mine. I got down to Grand Central Station kind of late, and I had to make a running jump for the train just as it was pulling out. Just made it, eh?
Yes, sir.
Is this car 163?
That's one ahead of us.
Thanks very much. I beg your pardon, it's very clumsy in me, but the train sways.
Oh, it's quite all right. No harm done.
Well, I'm glad of that. Say, haven't we met before?
No, I'm quite sure we haven't. May I pass, please?
But I'm sure I knew that girl. And later, sitting across the table somewhere in the club car, I happened to pick up a magazine, and there on the cover was her picture. Looking right at her, I blurted out, "Why, you're Princess Charming."
I'm traveling incognito.
Oh, I get it, Your Highness. I'll try not to spill the beans, but I knew I'd seen your face before. It was getting my goat, you know.
Was it? I'm sorry. It's the only one I've got.
The only one you've got? Well, that's good. Well, my name's O'Hara. Henry J. O'Hara.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. O'Hara? And please call me by my real name, won't you? It's Nina Drew.
Glad to know you, Miss Drew. As a matter of fact, I feel as if I've known you for a long time.
Now, don't tell me you've taken my charm course.
Oh, no, not quite. But my wife has.
Oh.
You know, I've caught one or two of your radio broadcasts myself. And they're not as silly as I expected.
Well, that coming from a man is wild praise.
But the way I look at it, Miss Drew, any woman who can convince womankind not to wear gooey creams on those masks at night is doing mankind a great service. I bet your husband approves your stand as much as I do.
But I'm not married.
You're not married? Well, all I can say is that young men nowadays must be timid as mice and blind as bats.
You're being a little harsh on the young men, Mr. O'Hara. As far as I'm concerned, I do not choose to wed.
You must think I'm a very nosy old man.
No. Let's go, Mr. O'Hara.
Now, being served.
Well, just to prove that, will you have dinner with me?
All right.
That's fine. Now, shall we go forward to the dining car forward? Well, Princess Charming dined with me. And after hearing me sound off about myself through 6 courses, I guess maybe she was glad to do a little talking just to keep me quiet. Anyhow, when we're back in the club car, settled in 2 comfortable chairs, she started off with...
So you're on your way to San Francisco. Well, I'm not going that far. Although where I am going seems as far away as the North Pole.
Where's that?
Greatstone, my hometown. I'm going back for the first time in 10 years.
Greatstone?
Mm-hmm.
Can't say I ever heard of it.
Well, don't let that worry you, Mr. O'Hara. It's just a whistle stop in Illinois.
Is your visit business or pleasure, so to speak?
So to speak, it's neither. You might call it, yes, you might call it a journey of revenge.
Revenge? Pretty strong stuff for a gentle little lady like you. Will it involve the use of firearms, so to speak?
You're laughing at me. Well, I can't say I blame you. The whole thing is very childish, but you see, in my high school class, there was a boy...
There generally is.
Oh.
I beg your pardon.
Well, this boy was Christopher Avery. Isn't that a wonderful name? Oh, but, you know, you can't tell much by a name. He was the most unattractive boy. He'd been a sick child, and now he was little and puny, and to make matters worse, he had a crush on me.
Oh, romance.
Well, I didn't see it that way at all, because, you see, I had a crush on... You know, really, this is too utterly silly. You're probably bored to death.
Oh, nothing. I'm very much interested, especially in what you say about revenge.
Well, the other boy was Ned Parker, captain of the football team, president of the senior class. Oh, you know, a school hero. He was big and blond, and well, he used to ask me to the movies almost every week, and he'd walk me home from school. I thought he liked me.
Well, if you ask me, he showed good taste.
Thank you. And then came the week of the senior prom. Oh, it meant the world and all to us. I was sure Ned would ask me. Well, as a matter of fact, you might say I was banking on it. When Chris Avery, that's the unattractive boy I mentioned, he came up to me after our English class.
Oh, Nina, got a moment? I'd like to talk to you.
Oh, sure, Chris. What's up?
Well,
the proof of the yearbook went to the printer all right, didn't they?
I wasn't thinking about that, but... Oh, yeah, sure they did.
Oh, no, you had me worried for a minute. I sat up all night correcting proofs I want you to know.
But, Nina, that isn't what I want to talk to you about.
Oh, what do you want?
Well, are you going to the... I mean, who's taking you... well... Would you come to the senior prom with me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris, but, well, you see, someone else has asked me first.
Oh, I see.
Well, honestly, Chris, it was Ned Parker. He asked me yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right, Nina. Only I hoped... I mean, I thought I'd gotten to you first.
Well, you almost did. Where's me? Oh, hello, Emma. Well, I've got to get home early so Mama can fit my dress. For the senior prom? Oh, and is this scrumptious?
What a shame to waste it on Christopher Avery.
Well, what makes you think I'm going with Christopher Avery?
Oh, with everybody else paid off, who else is there for you to go with? Unless you import one of your cousins all the way from Chicago.
That's my business?
Naturally, it's your business, Nina, dear. As I said to Ned Parker when he asked me to go with him. Why, Ned, I said to him, I thought you'd most certainly ask Nina to go with you. Why should you be asking dumb little me?
But, Ned Parker asked you.
That's what I said, didn't I? Anyhow, he said to me, you're not dumb. And when it comes to going out with a girl, I'd rather have someone pretty and charming like you than the smartest girl in the country. Isn't he the sweetest thing to say that?
Yes, I suppose so. Well, I must run now. I'm late. Mom will be waiting. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, I wasn't sorry. I wasn't sorry. Everybody said all except me. There's that nerve. There. Take a look at yourself, Nina, too. Take us Gordon, who was the only girl in Greatstone, hasn't got a partner for the senior prom. Oh. You may be smart, all right. What does it get you? Nothing but an invitation from Chris Avery. Little one. Couldn't imagine why everybody's laughing their heads off. Well, they won't laugh at me. I won't go to this meeting, Tom. I'll get my diploma at commencement. And right after, when they're all dancing in this horrible one-horse town, I'll be on my way to New York. And someday when I'm grown up and famous, Miss Parker will come calling to me. He'll beg me for a dance. I'm sure.
Well, you did show them, didn't you? So now the famous Princess Charming is on her way back to Greatstone to
gloat. I'm going back there to keep that promise to myself, to show them, especially Ned Parker and Irma and a few others. Oh, isn't that awful? Imagine anyone harboring that much resentment over such a silly little thing, but no, I just can't help it.
More power to you. And I hope everything works out the way you expect, my dear.
No, thank you.
I shall be returning this way in about 4 or 5 days. Maybe we'll be meeting again in the return trip, eh?
I'm afraid not, Mr. O'Hara. I'm planning a 2-week stay in Greatstone.
Oh, now that's too bad for me. But it's a small world, and we may bump into each other again someday. Then you can tell me how it all turned out, eh?
Perhaps we will meet again. At any rate, please give my best to Mrs. O'Hara, and if she'd like to come to see me at the broadcasting studio when I get back to New York, I'd be very glad to meet her.
Oh, if I tell her that, you'll find her camping on your doorstep in your return.
Well, I shouldn't mind that a bit. Thanks again, Mr. O'Hara. Good night and goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Lou, and good luck, Emma. I hope you're not disappointed in your revenge.
In just a minute, we'll return you to the scene of tonight's Grand Central Station drama. But now, let me tell you of a drama behind the scenes. A dramatic development in Rinso that's the very reason for our bringing you this program. Just a short time ago, the Rinso that millions thought was the best laundry soap in America became an even better soap. Rinso became Anti-Sneeze Rinso. Here was dramatic news for every housewife who suffers from sneezy soaps, from wash day hay fever. We told millions about it on Rinso's very popular daytime show, Big Sister. We told millions about it on Rinso's exciting evening show, Big Town. But this news proved so important, we wanted to tell millions more about it on another great radio show. And here we are on Grand Central Station. Now, I wonder how many thousands of you listeners, when you pour out soap, still do this.
Oh, dear, I do wish this darn soap didn't make me sneeze so much.
You see, now that sneezing from dusty, sneezy soaps can be a thing of the past. The new Anti-Sneeze Rinso that's on sale everywhere is 98% free of the irritating soap dust that causes sneezing, while many other packaged soaps still contains as much as a quarter pound of soap dust. The difference is the makers of Rinso decided to do something about it. Their soap-making experts worked week after week, month after month. Nearly $250,000 was spent to take the sneezes out of Rinso. And unbelievable as it may seem, this new Anti-Sneeze Rinso not only saves you sneezing, but saves you money, too. Yes, Rinso with its suds booster now gives so much more suds than the old, it's like getting free soap every 5th wash day. Why not try the new Anti-Sneeze Rinso? Get a package tomorrow and judge for yourself if this new Anti-Sneeze Rinso isn't the best soap you've ever used for whiter, brighter washes, for dishes, and for all-around house cleaning.
Well, I didn't see Nina Drew again. By the time I woke the next morning, we're hours beyond Greatstone. I got to San Francisco all right, made a whacking big sale, and started back a couple of days later. Second evening out of Frisco, I was on the observation platform looking at the country roll by. There was a big fellow sitting there, too, smoking a pipe. When I couldn't find a match for my cigarette, he obliged.
Can I help you with a match, sir?
Thank you very much, son. A fine evening. My name's O'Hara.
Mine's Avery. Glad to know you. Live on the coast?
No, I'm a New Yorker, traveling salesman, proud of it.
That's nice work if you can get it.
My wife doesn't think so. Are you going to New York?
Not this trip. I'm paying my old hometown a visit. First time in 10 years.
You don't say. Where are you from?
Oh, a small town in Illinois. Doubt if you've ever heard of it. It's called Greatstone.
No, I can't say I... Here, wait a minute. Did you say Greatstone?
Yes, I did. Why?
Oh, nothing at all. I just happened to meet someone. What did you say your name was?
Avery. Christopher's the first name. That's in Columbus.
Christopher Avery. You're Christopher Avery?
Why, yes. Unless I'm a case of mistaken identity. There's nothing wrong with that, I hope.
Oh, no. I was just surprised to. I mean, you're a big fellow, aren't you? I say about 6'2", eh?
Just about.
Played football, I bet.
To Stanford.
I suppose you played in your high school team, too.
Well, no, I'm afraid not. I was sort of undersized in my high school days.
Undersized? Well, that's a good one. You must have grown double quick after that.
Grow? Say, I jumped up so suddenly that I outgrew every suit almost as fast as I got it. I was the tailor's favorite customer.
Well, nature does sure play cute tricks, doesn't she? And you're going back to Greatstone on a business trip?
Business? No, I wouldn't call it that. I'd call it revenge.
Revenge? Eh? Well, sounds serious.
No, it's not like that, Mr. O'Hara. Kind of kid stuff, really. But I just found out from a friend's letter that the girl who was my idea of, heaven, all through high school, is back in Greatstone for a visit after 10 years.
Sounds like a rendezvous.
No, sorry to disappoint you again.
I see. And what do you do for a living?
Me? Oh, I'm sports editor of Watch.
Watch what?
No, I mean the magazine Watch.
Oh, you mean that big thing with all the pictures in it?
That's the one. I always did like to fool around with publishing and putting type on paper.
Oh, the yearbook.
What'd you say?
Oh, nothing important. But I don't see where the revenge comes in.
Well, this girl I mentioned, you know,
The beauty expert, yes?
She gave my boyish pride a pretty nasty jolt about 10 years ago. After weeks of practicing in front of the mirror, I finally got up the courage to ask her to go to the senior prom with me. And she turned me down.
And that's your reason for revenge?
Well, that's not all. She turned me down because she said another boy had already asked her.
The early boy catches the girl, eh?
But I knew she was lying because the boy himself had told me he was taking somebody else.
Well, they say that's all fair in love and war.
Yes, I suppose so. As I said, I was an undersized little runt. A far from attractive specimen to drag around a dance floor. Naturally, I was sensitive as the dickens. And that little episode made me determined to get out of Greatstone then and there. If it was the last thing I did, I'd show them.
You know, I've heard something like your story once before.
Yes, I suppose it's not unusual. And in a way, I suppose I ought to be grateful for the jolt she gave me that memorable day. If I hadn't left town, I'd probably be a school teacher now in the Greatstone Grammar School. Maybe still undersized in the bargain. Things grow big in California. Look at the redwoods.
Well, it's a new wind that blows. That doesn't blow that...
I guess my long-winded story is putting you to sleep. It's pretty late at that.
Yes, better turn in. See you in the morning. Bye, Avery. Good luck. Well, there it was. Like two pieces of a jigsaw puzzle fitting together perfectly. And so far, I was the only one who knew it. Sure, I could have told them about Nina Drew on the way out and what she said, but I figured they'd meet each other in Greatstone all right, without any help from Henry J. O'Hara, and nature would take its course. Early the next morning, I awoke to feel the train slowing down. As we stopped, I looked at my watch, 7 o'clock. I raised my shade and looked out. It was Greatstone, all right, and Chris Avery was walking down the platform.
Thanks, Porter. Here, that's for you.
I almost called out to him, but he had gone too quickly. Then I noticed someone getting on the train, too, at the other end of the car. And who do you think it was?
No, thank you, Porter. I'll carry this one. Take it to the dining room.
I could hardly believe my eyes. I wanted to yell to her. I rapped on the window, but the train had started up, and she was already on it. I dressed in a hurry and headed for the diner. mind if I join you?
Well, hello there. Why, it's Mr. O'Hara. Imagine meeting you again.
You don't have to imagine. Here I am, Henry J. O'Hara in person. You caught me coming and going.
Well, do sit down, please. We can toast our meeting with orange juice and coffee.
Thank you, thank you. Here we are. Now sit down. There we are.
Please say that it's a small world, so I won't have to say it.
Gladly. It's a small world. Much smaller than you think.
Good. Well, now that that's over, was your trip successful?
Very, thank you. I'm surprised to find you on this train, though. I thought you were going to be in Greystone for 2 weeks, and it's only, now let me see, 5 days since you got there.
Yes, I know, but I changed my mind.
Wasn't it a victorious homecoming?
Too victorious, much too victorious. I couldn't take it.
Was what's his name, your high school hero? Was he there?
Ned Parker? Oh, definitely. Ned was there, all right. Everywhere I went. Morning, noon, and night. There he was.
Well, wasn't that what you wanted?
Well, maybe it was. Ned's changed. Oh, he was gallant enough. He gave me a grand rush, flowers, notes, telephone calls.
Why,
Well, he's married.
married?
Mm-hmm. To Irma, that's right. The pretty little girl who he took to the senior dance instead of me. My second night in Breakstone, she came to see me. My last memory of Irma was a slim little thing with bright yellow curls, big blue eyes, and now... Oh, she's so changed. So different.
Hello, Nina.
Irma, well, hello. It's good to see you again. Please sit down and tell me everything.
You look wonderful. I'd never recognize you.
Well, you look very well, too, Irma.
Yes, so do I. You don't have to pretend with me, Nina. I know how I look.
Oh, Irma, why? You haven't been taking care of yourself. Oh, your hair, it used to be so lovely. What's happened to it? You're so pale. Why, you look 15 years older than you are.
Is this some free professional advice?
I'm sorry.
Because if it is, that's what I've come for.
Irma.
I mean it, Nina. Do you think I want to look like this? I can remember when I was the prettiest girl and... Oh, what's the use?
What's changed you?
Ned. Yes, I mean Ned, my husband. We were happy enough the first year before I found out that Ned liked a lot of girls as well as he liked me.
No, Irma, not Ned.
It shouldn't come as too much of a surprise to you, Nina. I don't know if you even remember our senior dance.
Yes, I can just about remember it.
Well, you expected Ned to ask you to go with him. Everybody else expected it. And he asked me instead. So you see, you have the distinction of being the first woman to be disappointed in Ned. But you've got all these...
Oh, Irma, don't cry yet. Ned, don't cry at all. They mean so much to you. Fight for it. Crying won't help.
Fight for it. There isn't an ounce of fight left in me.
Oh, yes, there is. You came to me tonight for advice and help. Well, I'm going to give it to you now. First of all, you've got to get rid of that attitude. Throw it right out of the window. Now, listen carefully to everything I
So you told her how to get her man back, eh?
Mm-hmm. The infallible Princess Charming campaign. I made her promise to write me every week. If things don't turn out as they should, I'll change the tactics.
I see. But did you see all your old friends and schoolmates while you were home?
Most of them, except a few who'd moved elsewhere.
How about this Christopher Avery fellow?
Chris? Oh, I heard he'd left Breakstone years ago. He went West California, they said. I suppose he's puttering around in a second-hand boot shop now.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. What?
Miss Drew, suppose you were an innocent bystander and you saw someone making a big mistake. A mistake she didn't even know about. Would you butt in and tell her about it, or would you mind your own business and not meddle with other folks' lives?
Well, I don't know. It would depend upon the mistake, I guess. If she were using the wrong fork at the dinner table, I don't think I'd bother.
Well, supposing this were a big mistake. Something that was leading her away from possible happiness.
Well, then I'd tell her definitely. It'd be only human.
Thanks, my dear. That's what I've been waiting to hear. You're making a mistake in going back to New York.
What do you mean?
Now, don't be offended.
What?
You just said it'd be only human to stop someone from making a big mistake. Well, you ought to get off at the very next stop and get a bus back to Greystone just as fast as you can.
Well, what's all this about?
I know I don't look like Cupid But I'm sure he'd approve highly of what I'm doing. The reason you ought to hurry back to Greatstone is Christopher Avery.
Chris, but he's not in Greatstone.
Oh, yes, he is. I traveled with him from Frisco. I saw him get off one end of the train while you got on the other.
You mean just now?
Yeah, that's what I said. But he told me how you'd been his ideal all through school, how you broke his heart when you turned down his invitation to the senior prom. He ran away from Greatstone, too, the way you did. And today he's a success, the way you are. And it's not a bookstore.
Poor Chris, he's probably a school teacher now.
Now, save your pity, save your pity. Your Christopher Avery is doing very nicely as sports editor of Watch magazine. And he's as fine a figure of a man as ever I've seen. 6'2", built like a football player. Matter of fact, he did play for Stanford.
Chris, a football player. Oh, no, it can't be the same boy.
And what's more, he's still in love with you. That's why he went back to Greatstone. When someone wrote to him that you were coming for a visit, he called it revenge. But I'm too old a fella, and I've met too many people not to recognize a bad case of love when I see it.
You honestly mean he was coming all the way from San Francisco just to meet me again?
And to gloat a little bit. He always knew that Ned hadn't asked you to that troublemaking dance. He knew why you turned him down. So now he wants to strut up and down before you, and I can't say I blame him.
Can't say as I do either.
Then you'll go back?
Well, it's so silly. All this childish remembering, getting even with people. Oh, I'm sure we'd be a great disappointment to each other. But, well, after Chris has traveled so far just to see me again, it does seem a shame for me not to be there.
Now you're talking. And here we are, heaven only knows where.
Oh, dear.
This is Johnny's where you get off.
But, Mr. O'Hara, are you sure I'm not making a mistake by going back?
I've staked my reputation as Cupid's right-hand man on that.
Oh, but Mr. O'Hara, I don't know what to say.
Now, don't say anything. Give me your hand now. Watch your step. There we go. There we are. And here your bag.
Oh, but Mr. O'Hara, I want to thank you.
Forget it, my dear. Or if you want to, you can send me a telegram after you've seen Christopher.
All right.
Let me know whether or not he was worth going back for.
I will. Goodbye. Goodbye, Mr.
Goodbye, mister. Goodbye. And that, as the wise man says, that. I hope I did the right thing, interfering in two lives that way. Well, anyhow, here's the telegram I got that evening. Tarnation, where did I put it? Hope I didn't go and lose it. Want to show to Martha. Ah, here it is. Yes, here it is. Here's the telegram, black and white. No, black and yellow. It's from Greatstone, addressed to me in the train. And the message says, Dear Cupid, he was worth it. He was worth it.
Now, before we call the roll of tonight's outstanding cast, may I give you my own personal reason for being happy about this new anti-sneeze rinso? You know, I like my shirts to be really white, thick and span from collar to cuffs. That's my reason, and there must be lots of men like me. Your husband, for instance. I'll bet if you've never done his shirts with Rinso, you'll notice the difference the first time you try it. You see, the new anti-sneeze Rinso doesn't just get shirts almost white, it gets your white things up to 10 shades whiter than old-style soaps. And don't forget, when you use the new anti-sneeze Rinso, you'll get relief from this. Achoo! And, of course, you get whiter, brighter washers. Try a big green and yellow package of the new anti-sneeze Rinso tomorrow and find out for yourself.
Please,